Good morning. Hand today is going to be King Queen of Hearts. So we have an under the gun player. I call, small blind calls, and we're going to take it to the flop. So under the gun player is playing 15-9 over 171 hands. When we look at his early position stat, it looks like it's 11% VPIP, 13% pre-flop raise. I think this is going to be a pretty strong range. This is 11.3%. I think this is pretty darn close to what we're going to be dealing with. We look at mine, cutoff versus early position raise. King Queen's definitely in a calling range. We look at a 3-bet, and you could ask, is my hand strong enough to a 3-bet? Yeah, I think we could. But the question is, if I 3-bet, what hands is he gonna call with? I think he's gonna basically fold these hands that I can beat already. I think I want to keep a lot of these hands in his range. Probably fold some of these under pairs as well. And I think he continues with hands that really do well against me. I do have position, so I think we can make an argument, that raising to build a pot is suitable. But I think by calling here, we just keep all of those weaker cards in his range. Now, the other thing we have to consider are the blinds. The blinds do seem a little bit loose. We've got a 29% VPIP for this player, 31% for this player. They're both big. If either of them come along, it's going to cut into our equity. But I do have ultimate position. It's not like one of these guys is in the button. We're trying to make sure that we're isolated. So when we go to my call, I think King Queen is a suitable call. In terms of ranges, this guy is probably the hardest one to judge, just because we don't have a huge number of hands on him. And we don't have a huge number on under the gun, but under the gun's a little bit. I think just overall, it's a tighter range. This guy looks overall to be a looser range. He's playing 24% VPIP. Pre-flop, he is called only once out of 13 times, called a 2-bet. Which means I don't think he's going to be way too loose, but at the same time, he does appear like he's going to be loose. So I'm going to give him a range like this. And I think what's notable are these suited kings, maybe some of these hands, maybe these offsuits. And the reason I'm going to include those suited kings is because when we have the call 2-bet from blinds, it looks like we do have suited aces. We got ace-jack suited, ace-3 suited. And then it does look like we've got suited kings. We've got king-queen suited all the way down to king-6 suited. And then we have some offsuit hands. We've got 9-8 in there. We've got 9-5. We got king-6. I'm sorry, ace-8 off. I don't want to include the ace-x off in these ranges. It's gonna really increase percentages. I just don't think we're gonna go that high. I mean, I could kind of go down to something like this, a7, ace-8. I guess that's okay, but I think suited aces, suited kings are good. I think more people would play the suited versions than the offsuit versions. So I think we're just going to go with this. This is 23%. I'll include some of those offsuits. So we go to a flop of king, queen, 3, which good and bad. Any lone club is not going to fold, but we have 2 pair. So both players check to me. I do not have initiative, so I think we're good with this player. He's probably going to check. This guy had initiative, and he chose to check. Is he going to check his flushes? I bet not. I bet he goes for value with them. I kind of feel like he's going to go for value with the set and probably 2 pair. I think usually over pairs are going to bet. Or over pairs. Yeah, they're probably going to bet. Maybe it's that. It just seems odd for he has initiative and he chose not to bet on a board that he's probably decent with. So I think we're gonna go with that overall week, and then it's on me, and it's like, okay, both of those players checked. What do I want to do? I know I'm not gonna get anyone to fold if they have the ace of clubs. Is it possible that we have players that are slow playing? Yes. So I guess we're gonna have to look at what kind of draws are we gonna have. I guess we don't really have the nut flush draw because we're not playing a whole lot of offsuits, which means we're not really gonna have much in terms of bluffs. So that kind of means that if we are going to be betting, it's probably flushing 2 pair. King, queen, and our made flush are ace, jack, ace 10. And then, you know, these no made hands here, ace, jack, ace 10, jack 10. Just kind of as bluff. They're, you know, basically open enders and gut shots. I chose a check. I'm not sure if that's right. Again, 2 pair could be a check behind here too. If it's a check behind, then that means we're not really going to be betting a whole lot. So if we go back, you know, maybe it's the open ender that we bet. And maybe not all of them. Yeah, let's do that. X the flush. Cause I don't think I would so play it. I think we go for a little bit of value there, and probably the open ender, and that leaves everything else in our range. All right, turns to 6. We're not gonna fold, and I do think this is probably better. We've got a good hand, but we've got flush draws out there. I think if it checks us at this point, we're gonna have to bet, because we have to try to get some value. Try to get some value from the ace of clubs. You know, if there's like ace king off, ace queen off, ace jack off, we want to get value from those. We might also get value from like the king jack, queen jack, but you know, you got to know that we have king queen, so we really do block a lot. We block a lot of the hands that could be calling, you know, a lot of the hands that we're hoping to call, which are those offsuit broadways. So, you know, we've got both guys checked, and I think, you know, both of them still have their ranges. So now it's on us. What can we get value for? 2 pair, I think top pair, we're getting some value. I think maybe middle pair could be a little bit of value too. We're kind of betting here to see what we can get, with the idea that, at least with middle pair, that if called, we're probably just going to check behind on the river. We're going to include our probably our flush draw. Definitely our gut shots. I think that's what we're going for. Third nut are 10s, maybe just a second nut with those jacks. I think that's what we're going to be betting here. And we get 1 caller. So this guy folds, which is interesting. I would have really liked to see how my read was on him, but he calls. So what does he call with? Flush. He could be slow playing. I don't think he's given up a set or 2 pair. Probably not top pair. Middle pair if he has a flush draw. So we're gonna say nut, second nut, maybe third nut. That's iffy. We'll give him open ender. Do we need a gut shot? You know, those are like the ace jack, ace 10. I think that's gonna be part of his draws. So we're gonna go something like that is his calling range. River's the 5 of spades. Could we get 2 streets of value from our hand? Again, we block so many hands out that are out there that I'm not sure if we want to go for two streets of value. The question is, if I bet, which of these does he call? He's calling with a flush. He's calling with a set. He's calling with 2 pair. Does he call with top pair? And that's kind of like the big question, because that's 60% of hands that he's calling with here, and of those 60%, all right, about a third of them are going to be the top pair type hands that we beat. And the 2 pair, we know king queen's out, or probably out. So you take 9 combos out, right? Well, he has 9. It's going to be 2, 3, 5, 6, 5 combos. So go from 9 to 5. It'll be close. It'll be close to whether we can bet a little bit for value or not. Now, and that's concerning. Now, once he bets, I don't think he bets with top pair. I don't really think he bets with 2 pair. It's he's betting 7 into 28, so he's betting 25%. This really does look like a flusher set. Really, probably just a set that he's. I'm sorry, not a set. A flush that he's hoping to get paid with. We only have to be right 17%. So it's 16% if we think he's going to be doing this as a, if we break this down and say he could be doing it with a set, he beats us with that still. It's that 2 pair or top pair. I'm not even sure if we're having 17%. I did call. Right or wrong, but I did call, and I think overall it's probably the right call in that case, and he does show the flush, the ace jack, so it kind of matches what we had, kind of narrows it down. He did slow play, and I'll give it to him. So I'm not sure if I could have done anything differently in this hand. I do think we need to go for some value with our hands. I think we realize that king queen blocks a lot of the hands that would be calling. Including ace king, ace queen offsuit, king jack offsuit. I think you had your suited ace jack, ace tens that were already out there with the clubs. I think we had the question on the river. Should we have really called? Well, we only needed to be right 17%. Can we be confident enough here in this case that he is betting with the hand that we beat? It's like he's leading with 2 pair. I mean, that 7 could be interpreted, or that 7 big blind bet could be interpreted as pot control, that he himself has a hand that is showdown value, that has showdown value, and he doesn't want to call a 21 big blind bet. So I mean, it's going to be hard when you bet this small to kind of get away with it, get away from the hand while we have 2 pair. I think calling's probably correct. Now what we could do is go back to this spot and say, was my bet here correct? I think betting was probably correct. Was the sizing correct? I bet on the larger side here. Maybe we bet half pot or a third pot here. Try to induce more calls or get more calls from weaker hands. And if you have more calls with weaker hands, then maybe that smaller bet is more a pot control type bet. So I think there's a lot of questions, a lot of things we could concern ourselves with. He did have a flush, so that's okay. I do say it's probably good that we only lost $5 in the hand, so I guess that's okay. That's when you look at overall, it's maybe 18, 15 big blinds, so that's good. So hopefully you enjoy this hand. Maybe you have encountered hands like this before, and you've seeing how I played, is helping your game. So hopefully you enjoy this. If you do, look tomorrow for another one.